Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
Fudge is dark satire with a little bit of sarcasm and silliness blended into it. The artwork is a little on the primitive side in places, which is what one expects from an independent book. And by primitive, I don't mean it's badly drawn, but rather thickly inked and angular in anatomy. I will say that I was very surprised at how quickly I got pulled into the story and how much I was wanting the next chapter on reaching the end. Exceeding expectations is the hallmark of a successful comic, and creator Christopher Tumulovich has accomplished that in this issue. Good evening, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com, where pop culture gets blasted. And tonight we have on the creative team behind Hero Shack, publishers of Cluster Fudge and of The Great Cyclopean, of which I have 1 and 2 in my never formerly nicotine-stained fingers. There's a deep cut reference for those who get it. And if you don't, that's okay too. So let's get right into it and find out where they are on the campaign for Cluster Fudge number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, Diana and Christopher Tumulovich and Fuzzy Friend, how you guys doing?
We are fantastic.
We are wonderful. Fuzzy Friend is Miss Tiny, our 15-year-old little chihuahua, my little old lady.
And whenever we stream, she decides she wants to come up. So I let her up early this time.
And then she wants to leave as soon as the camera goes. Yes.
Yeah. Well, no, she hopped to Mama's lap.
Yes. Mama just got home.
Mama's got fingernails.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay. Yes, of course. She's like 95 in dog years. That's up there.
She's old. She's definitely an older little lady. But anyways, we are so happy to be here. Thank you, RJ, once again for having us on your amazing show.
And we're very excited. You announced that we were funded. I didn't even know we were funded until I saw your post. That was very exciting.
I was watching it and I was like, oh, they're so close to funding. Wouldn't it be great if we get them funded on our show tonight? And I was like,
it would be.
And I was like, damn it, they got funded early.
Well, and I don't want people to think I'm not paying attention, but I really am recovering from a mysterious virus, which is likely a COVID variant that's not showing up on the tests. But I'm getting
Google over here.
No, I've been reading up. There's a new variant they think that's not able to be tested yet.
Oh,
COVID-21, here it comes.
Yeah. So the doctors have been giving me medicine. I've slowly gotten a little better every day. And today it's just been weird. I've been able to wake up for like 2 hours, go to sleep for an hour, wake up for 2, go to sleep for an hour. And to wake up and come on and holy cow, it's funded. You know, all you guys are amazing. you guys know what's been happening today. So that's all been coming in little spurts, but
I went to
wow.
work and we weren't funded. And I've been at work until like maybe 15, 20 minutes ago. So I had no idea. And when he told me, and I was excited, of course. So.
Well, let's go over the campaign tonight and all your other projects and watch the temperature drop in here, because y'all will be snowed on this trip. it just happens. Let's make it snow. So yeah, you had a $500 flexible goal, which meant that you were committed to getting this thing out no matter what came in. But gosh, it's so much better to be funded than coming in under and having to dip into the personal cash.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny though? We've never done a flexible. That was an accident. We've always put our mark at 500 or thereabouts. We went over for a little project, but like without that goal there, it felt different this time. Like I didn't feel the urgency that I did when usually it's a 30-day $500 thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
stress,
man, you guys have done so much this campaign to just. It just helps our confidence. Like you said, we have Cyclopean as well. And actually, that's going to launch in about 2 days on Kickstarter. And you're tapping me. What's up?
Yeah, let RJ finish.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're not interrupting me. This is your show. I'm here to let you guys talk. I only fill in, when you guys are done saying something, then I fill the void and give you guys something to think about to say again. But, it's common with first books that you do everything you can to get the eyes on the books, including promising to shave your head on stream if you hit a certain goal amount, which you guys did. Second book, you don't need to do that because now the first book is out there, and you guys got this funding on your own merit, on the creative processes that you put out there, on what you produced. So enough people liked what they saw that they came back and told us.
That's touching too. It really is.
It is.
And I can tell you that Cluster Fudge 2's art is even less primitive. I love how you put that, because as a developing artist, one of the things I'm having the most trouble with is reminding not to get too thick on the inks. And you hit that right on the head, and I'm like, brother, that's truth. But on the other hand, it's also part of the charm of the book. I've said this before, I think in other interviews. But as you watch our work over the years, it's going to improve. And that, I don't know what anybody else feels, but that's super exciting to me. I love looking at it.
And that is part of the creative process, isn't it? Like as creators, whatever your creative process or whatever your creativity is, setting a mark for yourself and then reaching that mark and then succeeding and then setting another mark, that is part of the fun for me anyways, as a newbie person on the scene in the comic book world. I am excited because when I look at all the books that Chris has done and that we've successfully funded. Now, no, we're not making thousands, and no, we're not, over the top, but every book that we have had a campaign has been funded. And to me, that is something to be proud of. That's not where we're going to stop, but it is definitely a good baseline to start with, because I know I've seen other campaigns that they maybe,
and she knows how
mark a little high.
She knows how depressed I'd be if we didn't get it too, because I am a drama king when it comes to things. And one of the reasons she's my wife is because God gave me somebody who knows how to keep me from falling off the cliff. But sometimes I get close. Yeah.
So sometimes you need a ball and chain to hold you down.
Absolutely, that's a great analogy too.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, I always. Whenever I call, independent artwork primitive, I always feel like I need to qualify it like that, because I'm one of these guys who watches, like Mike Wolf dig into the barn and pull out stuff, and it's like, look at this primitive folk art. And it's like, it's not cave paintings. It's it's a style.
Yeah.
It's common in independent books. But, Cyclopean's a lot more fluid because you have grown as an artist now, and there's a lot more dynamism to the posing.
It has a lot to do with the exposure to other creators, and everybody from Lazmat to EBS to you name it. I've been absorbing everything I can watch, everything I can see, and learning from all these campaigns and all the styles. And you know what? I love the variation. If everybody was house style Marvel or house style DC, my collection would be just as boring as ever.
Right.
But over the last 3 years, I can tell you, we got a lot of exciting stuff from all angles. You know, some is really high end, and other stuff is just about Xerox copied off of notebook paper. And the weird thing is, I've learned to love it all. Whereas when I was a younger reader, I was Marvel only, and don't bring me any of that or none of this. The world is just awesome when you open up to it.
Well, I just think, again, like, I look across at all these amazing indie artists, like, and I'll say, Chris, that's the person we want to emulate, right? Ethan Van Sciver.
I love it when she does that.
Because I never know. Am I saying that right? I watched a couple of his streams, and he's fantastic. I like his presence. To me, he seems very professional. But I mean, like, that is somebody you want to emulate. Who's the other guy? Eric. I'm going to kill his name.
Eric Weathers?
No.
He's an artist that. Oh goodness.
Nikolowski.
Cross Comics introduced us.
Oh my gosh,
he has a very difficult name to pronounce, kind of like mine.
But even more so.
Yeah.
He's somebody that I really enjoy watching. So the point that I'm making is that there are so many different levels of indie artists. You have the people that are like just starting out. Then you have people that have been doing it for a couple of years like us. Then you have people that have been doing it longer and longer.
And then you have pros that are doing it.
And you have pros. And I just love looking across the expanse of all of that, and just kind of like, I want to go, that's where I want to be. Like, that's where I envision Hero Shack Press, over there. I don't want to get caught up here. I want to keep moving. I want to keep expanding. I want to keep meeting amazing artists. So that's kind of where I'm at. He's totally different though. I don't know what to do with him. I can't control him. I feel like I have to step in, like, President Trump, when they had to take over his Twitter.
They didn't take it over.
I was this close, right? This close. I'm like, I'm at work, and my phone and my watch are blowing up. Yes, it's Eric Ninotowski. Eric.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
Ninotowski.
Thanks, Rick. So he's amazing, but I just see so much. I want to see so much positivity and team kind of effort with indie creators. I don't know if that's even possible, but.
Well, of course it's possible. Comicsgate does it, and there are other little cliques within Comicsgate that do it together. And then you have the
but
big.
Then they all hate each other.
Well, yeah, I don't want that. Like, is that even possible? Probably not. I'm a little bit of a looking through the.
Well, we definitely are. We are more lovers than fighters in Hero Shack.
This is the man. Okay, did you guys hear that? We are more lovers than fighters. I'm like, you can't say that.
No, in general, I don't fight people.
You can't say that.
I've only had issues with
in
one
general,
guy. Yes.
Cats within general. So let's talk about Cluster Fudge too.
Amen.
Let's talk about it, because you know what? Cluster is the main character. I hesitate to say hero.
Yes.
Not even my favorite character in the book.
Really?
my favorite character in the book, you have this watcher / Silver Surfer kind of guy whose job it is to watch it, and he always has to be reminded to do his job. He's like,
yes.
Fine, I'll do my job.
I love it.
You know what's great? So before we initially started issue 2, Well Read Reviews had done a review, and one of the guys, I think it was Sunshine or Sunset, I don't really know his name, I forgot it, but he said something about, that the space guy was cool, but there wasn't enough of him. Well, his part does grow in this issue, and a lot of it has to do with what I heard in that review. And so you're going to see Silver Scribe in an expanded format.
Oh my gosh.
With his first girlfriend ever, and in a cosmic space battle coming up. Yep. Yes.
Yes, that is in Cluster Fudge 3, which is already pretty much.
Well, the romance stuff is in 2, but the big cosmic battle comes in 3.
Yeah, that's in 3.
Right.
I'm hoping to see him in other Hero Shack titles. Have him introduce some great Cyclopean or something. I mean, it is a shared universe, right? Yes,
and you're hitting it right on the head. So Violet, the little black girl in the book, from 1 is in 2, and she will evolve into a character into the Cyclopean world. Silver Scribe, much like the satire that he is of Silver Surfer, is going to find himself trapped on Earth for at least a time, and he will cross over into the Cyclopean world, which is kind of funny because I just finished Cyclopean 3, and that's got the beginning buds of what's going to happen. Yeah. It's all being kind of introduced secretly so that when it does happen, you guys will go, oh, that's what he was doing. Okay.
There's a whole plan.
Yes.
This is crazy because I feel like I just finished reading Cluster Fudge 1. I know I just got Cyclopean 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And you're sitting here talking about here's Cluster Fudge 2 is funded and it's going to be happening, and you've already got Cyclopean 3. I'm mixing my titles up. Cyclopean 3 already done. It's almost like you guys are trying to be a comic book company and putting things out on schedule.
My dream is really to have at least a book every 2 months, a bi-monthly series type thing.
Yeah.
But I end up doing so many pages that, like, Cyclopean 3 is strictly a 25-page book. And it was the first time that I put a real cap number on the pages. Usually I just go until I'm tired and, okay, I'll stop at 48 or I'll stop at 32 or whatever.
So we got to kind of change that up.
Well, plus it helps the predicted cost of printing.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for her to set bargains up. If this book costs $7 to print, this one costs $5. You know, like our margins are
13. So,
yeah, that one killed you, didn't it? Actually.
But I just think that having like you know, a 25, 26 page like comic book is fun. You can get it done. You can sit down and whip through it. Then you get like these books that are huge. It's like, oh no, I've got to wait to read that. I think it's just, you know, a fun like kind of thing to do.
Well, it's also, and she doesn't realize this, but it's very close to the normal pages for a comic book out of the big two.
Imagine that. He's got an editor that doesn't know anything about comic books, but here we go.
Holding down to 22 pages and you'll be right there in the industry standard.
Yeah, exactly.
But, you know, the first couple of issues, it's okay to go over, you know, double-sized or extra-sized issues for 1 and 2. Yeah, that's common. Get people hooked into the story, give them a big helping, and then just have them keep coming back for, you know, the regular servings after that.
Exactly.
Well, you know, one of the challenges of fewer pages, though, of restraining myself, is learning to be a little more dynamic in what I'm laying out, make it more important. So instead of having long lally-gally, you know, layouts and stuff,
right, exactly.
it's like, oh, I need to really fit 9 panels on this page, and it needs to look better than just a grid layout. So how do I do that? And that's been really, I think, the most encouraging thing about what we've been doing for me is learning how to do that.
Another thing is making the visual aspect of the page tell the story as opposed to having too many words on the page.
So, otherwise it's just an illustrated novel. Which, you know,
Right.
Comics is way more than that. You have to use the two elements together to tell the story.
Right. And so for me, again, you know, starting to read comics, obviously, and really delving into this whole like new world for me, I'm starting to learn. I'm like, Chris, look at this page. Look at how many words. Like, look and then look at, you know, your stuff. And so a lot of that. And the biggest thing I think that helps us is when we read out loud and edit the story. That's probably one of my favorite parts.
I'm going to record that for you guys one week just so you can hear what it's like.
No,
it's
not.
fantastic.
It'd be cool. I don't think anybody's ever shown that part of the process before.
Yeah, she does the whole voice and everything.
I was going to ask. Yes.
Yes.
I do. I go down in my little deep.
But the best part is when I screw up the lettering, because I do it digitally. Sometimes I'll copy and paste a balloon and forget to edit the second, paste. And she'll be reading it, and it might be, this can of Sprite is very refreshing. You should go to the next balloon. This can of Sprite is, what is that, Chris? And she, in the middle of the story reading, she'll stop, and we'll have to fix it. And I'm like, oops, I forgot.
Well, that's why you read it out loud, because if you read it to yourself, you get that whole Paris and the spring happening. Your mind skips over those double things.
Exactly. So I really enjoy that process, and I think moving forward, because I am back in school, I'm going to get my bachelor's in creative writing in English. I'm actually in school studying it. My professor this time around is teaching us about how to publish and reach out to publishers. So I'm feeling very excited about the things that I'm learning in my classes that I can apply to our business, because we want to keep.
I'm really happy you're doing it backwards, because that's how I do everything. She's like backing into it, like
I'm learning different things. I'm like, oops, we shouldn't have done that.
Hey, well. I'm the same way with we're doing all the shipping stuff, and it's like, shipping's easy. Comic books fit in a Gemini mailer. Gemini mailers fit in an envelope, and they're out the door. I can do this. A monkey could do this. Why are you sending me original art? What is this trading card business? These things are 12 by 18. That's not 11 by 17. It's 6 by. So every campaign is like, I got to do something a little different.
Yes.
So right now, in fact, I'm going to take your campaign down for just a second, just a teeny tiny bit, because I'm sitting here with the work table / bed right beside me here, and I've been working all afternoon, half the afternoon, for Rabbi Zvi Lebetkin.
Oh yeah,
putting his for the male gaze 6 trading card sets in 4x6 holders.
Nice.
So that they're ready to be packaged up with the rest of it. I've got six crates of books over there, and he's the one who gave me the 12x18.
Throws all your packaging out the window. Now you got to order different size packaging.
Diana just went through something similar.
I've got 12x18 boxes down in the basement. I haven't brought them up yet because honestly, I just finished Angel's Awake. I keep saying Angela's Awakening. I am so sorry, Daniel. Angel's Awakening, just finished that, had 4 cases. 8 cases of books came from the rabbi, along with 4 cases of prints and 6 cases of cards. And then the packing material came in, and I'm like, for the love of God, Montresor, because I was getting walled into my little spot here.
I know. Oh my gosh. That is a great place to be, though. Look at you. Way to go.
And you know what we did today? We shipped packages from here to Europe and saved the campaign money by bundling it and working with a European agent who's going to grab it all, repost it in Europe for a cheaper price domestically, and forward it all on.
That is fantastic. I know who to call when we get that big. When we get that big that I can't handle it, I know who to contact. That would be you, my friend.
Be calling us up. Yeah, when you got a lot to ship, call us up.
Absolutely.
And that's the advertisement for Critical Blast Logistics today.
That's good though.
Ooh, do you have a video for that yet?
No, I do not. I don't have any videos. The only video I got is that bat signal thing, and I paid $5 for that, $35.
I stole that too, So every stream,
borrowed it.
Yeah, every stream now we do the little pre-show, the half hour before we come on live. And the only thing I could find was that opening that you have. So I popped that in there, and is that your comic book shop that we added to the?
That's not my comic book shop. That is my LCS guy who gave me that's a video he developed to last year to run at the drive-in theater because it was the only theater that people could go to. So it was
we stole that too.
Well, take it. Yes, send people
there. We didn't steal it. We borrowed it.
We're trying to promote promotion because as much as I think it's important for us to promote our own books, most of those projects that I advertise are projects that I've either backed or will back soon. And if I want those projects in my mailbox, I've got to kind of promote them too, so they get funded.
Well, there you go. There's the team part of Indiegogo, like independent indie comics. Right. Yeah, because
you start talking to people online with their comic books, and you start, suddenly you're amassing these crowdfunded books all over the place.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
And then you almost don't have time to sit down and read them all because you're setting up interviews with folks.
Look at all these books!
Holy cow!
Bro, I thought I was gathering a collection. Was this like just today's take?
No, this is about a week and a half here. But you know what? My phone, I've got this app on my phone called Shop, and it basically taps into Amazon and eBay and UPS and the postal system. And if anybody's sending me anything, and my email address is part of what they signed up with, which you can do, it sees it, and it says, "Hey, you got something coming from this person or that person." It tells me where it is the whole way. And the funny thing is that it doesn't care whether it's coming in or going out. So when 150 books go out from us, and then I sit down at about 2:00 in the afternoon, my phone goes bzz, 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 bzz. And I'm like, yep, they're being scanned at the post office now.
That is funny.
That is really good. Yeah.
No, he's talking about he's getting
alerts. Yeah, I think that's awesome.
That might drive me a little crazy though.
It can, yeah, it does. But so what I said that because I'm like, I know there's still more coming. And it doesn't tell me who it is. It says, you have a package from Indiegogo coming. I'm like, great. Which one is it? Tell me more.
What is it?
Yeah, we get
Speaking of
those
indie
occasionally. I have to admit, because of the cost, we've been doing a lot of PDF backing too. And honestly, as a creator, I have to say the PDFs are a very cool product because they cost next to nothing, of course.
Yeah.
And they're an easy way to back another person's campaign or receive backing, particularly in these Brandon times of life. Go Brandon. So
Let's go.
I like the budget sense of that. You don't know Brandon? He's famous. I'll tell you later.
Yeah. Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah.
Well, I like it too because I don't have to find spots for all these comic books in my husband's office and buy more bookshelves. So it's a good.
But it's going to happen. Every convention we go to, that's how she gets rid of me. She gives me $20 and says, "Go buy some books.
Go support some good indie artists."
And sometimes it's great. Like I brought her one the last convention. And she did not care for it. I thought that it was cute, and the cover was kind of cute, but it was crazy. And
it was different. I have to reread it again. I'm coming from a totally different perspective. I'm like, what? So I had my 29-year-old daughter explain it to me, and then I got it. That's how bad it can be sometimes. Then I bought a book from somebody, and one of the things that's kind of like my pet peeve with indie artists is I don't mind a couple of typing errors or misspelled. I don't mind that. But it's like, I get it. Most of them, like myself, I mean, in Fudge and all of the books, I know that we've, in the past, and the Sandbox series especially, holy cow, oh my God, I'd read it like after we've done our campaign. I'm like, oh my God, that was like, I feel so bad. But when you get a book from another indie artist and you can't get through the first page without my pencil and like, I don't know. And they say they have, like, that is very discouraging for me. I feel as independent creators that we have to rise above what the professionals do. Like, we have to be extra careful about all that stuff. So that's one of the things that I try to own with our books is I really try to meticulously edit them and look at them so that when you guys get them, you can read it without.
And that is a job. I make all sorts of errors all the time.
He really can't spell for the life of him.
What a great opportunity for me to sit down and talk about Critical Blast's editing services that we offer. But
yes, you have editing services.
Well, hello there, my friend. I'm sure you do.
You know, we publish books, and I was the editor on The Devil You Know here. And I've got this here because, guess what? It was an anthology of 20 horror stories, and we've opened up the reading period for the next 20 with The Devil You Know Better. So, through the end of March, I'm going to be looking at new writers.
That's awesome. That's exciting because that's where I would rather be. Like, I find for me, I love to edit. It's like my thing.
It's easier than writing.
It is. And speaking of writing, did you guys know that I am writing the Kid Clopian series? I am going to kind of throw out the old fishing pole and try to write Peter's story as a youngster.
That's awesome.
It'll be definitely 20 pages and under. I can tell you that right now. His first story is going to be coming out after the holidays. I'm working on it. My daughter will be the artist for that. And Chris is the overseer of the project because he knows obviously the character better than anybody. But I'm super excited, guys. So keep your eyes open. It'll be definitely targeted for the more elementary school, like 3rd graders, 4th graders, and things like that. Because I have this thing about books where some of our young people read them that I think maybe they shouldn't. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Right. Well, like with Cyclopean 3,
dear God.
She actually had me
Seriously?
edit. Like I had a Queen Sting in this kind of like a G-string dancer bottom.
Yeah.
Her bum was showing.
So
her 2 cheeks. I kid you not.
As an editor, she made me change it. And you know what? I followed that because that's her job. And she said, no, this is a little bit too much for a kid. So now she's in a skirt.
Yeah.
No problem.
Well, it's like, Lois Lane's not going to be walking around. Well, she might. I don't know. But for the longest time, there was consistency of audience expectations with a book. You could pick up Superman 50, 125, 230, and it was going to have the same level of audience presentability to it. It was always going to be, a PG book.
Right.
Because as soon as you throw that one out there, now you've got, kids that like, I can't read the book in between these two books because it won't be,
Right.
it got rated higher than what I could read.
Exactly. And even though in Chris's view, he's like, what? A kid not, and I'm looking at it, but as a mom and as somebody who works with children of that age group and knowing their parents, everything is beautiful about the book, except you turn the page and she's kind of bending over and you just see her bum. I'm like, what is this? I mean, what? And I looked, I'm like, what book am I reading? Is this Cluster Fudge 3? Because that I would have expected it from that book, right? So we had it out. He did. I said, put like some cute shorts or a skirt on her. It can still be like risque, I suppose, for a young boy, a little boy. But
you can show the thong if there's a skirt covering most of it there, unless you're Frank Cho, because he drew that Wonder Woman cover where she had the skirt on and he drew a panty line on her thigh.
Right.
And that was too risque.
Was it white?
Erased the panty line.
Was it white?
I think it might have been.
Because I did a picture of Wonder Woman when I was 3 years ago when I was first going out on conventions.
We all yelled at him for that one, Jim.
And she was doing this little leap in the air, and you could clearly see her white panties under her star-spangled skirt. And I got so much heat over that, and I'm like,
we made him change it to like red or something.
But I thought it was so much better that she was in a skirt, and they were like, no, we'd rather see her in bikini bottoms, and I'm like, but those are white panties. That's traditional, isn't it? And they're, so I had to change that. Yeah, everybody freaked out.
So yeah, we look at that kind of stuff.
She looks at that, that's why it's good that she's there. And like you were talking about Superman and expectations and stuff. That was exactly. Oh, she's beautiful.
Now this is the one. So it's a black and white picture. But you see that little thing right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he got in a fight with the writer over, and his way out of it was he had to erase it. So rather than wearing panties and that being risque, Wonder Woman not wearing panties is
even
much
better,
more
right?
Yes.
That makes no sense. No sense at all.
The world is crazy.
It is crazy.
But like those Superman issues and most of what we grew up reading was under the Comics Code Authority. Yeah. So it kind of leveled it out.
Well,
and I don't want to see a return of that, but I do like that Diana kind of puts those terms on the books. Like, okay, so this is all ages. I'll let you get away with this. This is mature. Go for it. And with Kidcopian, it's going to be very much, I'm envisioning almost like an anime type manga kiddie style because of what I know my daughter, and that will not be risque. There's no way.
No, it'll be fun. It'll be a fun story about Peter when he was a child growing up in Icon.
Right.
So that's what I'm working on.
It'll be your Smallville to the Great Cyclopean.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you remember in issue 1 though, we snuck that 20-page or that little 10-page story at the end with the beehive.
Yeah, and he was in the schoolyard with his friends, his pals from Icon Elementary. So.
That's a really rough precursor. Now, Krista, the artist, our daughter who's coming on, she's got very much more of a Disney anime Japanese style that she can do. Very cutesy. So those characters are actually going to look far cuter than they did in number 1.
I can't wait to see that one. We should talk about this book. We've talked about everything except this book.
This Cluster Fudge too.
Oh man,
it's exciting.
Too. Now his name's not Cluster Fudge, by the way. It's just Cluster.
Right. It's just Cluster. In this issue, there's a lot of stuff revealed about him to kind of clear up some confusion, and I don't know what I can say. What can I say?
Anything.
I'll
hit you if you go too far.
Okay, so I'll
do the belly thing like that.
We explain his name because he has a healing factor, and so basically, instead of just going out and learning combat and fighting and becoming some super soldier like AKA Wolverine or Deadpool, he used his healing power instead in conjunction with a government agency that was loading him with super serums that would otherwise kill a soldier. But this guy could handle it, use the power extraction from the various serums, and then heal from it. But one of the problems is, and what we saw in issue 1, is that he's suffering from residuals of decades of doing this. He's retired, but he's still got all these chemicals in him, which is why in issue 1 you see the feverish drug dream type scenarios. And that continues into what happens in 2, ultimately climaxing in 3. Am I getting lost here? Did I go too far? No, but that's why his name was, because he was a cluster guy. He was full of different chemicals that would otherwise waste you or I.
And he was
And
able
he
to
can't
tolerate
be
that.
killed.
What's
Right.
that? Yeah. And the 2-page spread, which you see on the right there, the second photo on the right, that's actually a quick little exposition deal where the government agent is explaining what happened to Cluster over his career and the various colored costumes and stuff. That's me allowing for revisiting this in the future if I want to go back and show some of Cluster's history.
Well, that's an excellent idea.
I'll have that whole. There's decades of stories I can put in there, but he's really not a nice guy, so I don't know if I'll ever do a book based on him like that.
He says
Back
that
when he was a
now.
much meaner person.
Right.
Well, he's kind of like what I've always pictured Wolverine used to be like. Back in the 80s, I always thought he was like just this dirty dog who happened to be hanging around these, basically clean-cut X-Men. And then they just kind of wussified him or something. They didn't wussify him, but they changed him. He lost his edge.
He found his name. He found his origin. I haven't seen him go into a berserker rage in a long time, but then, I haven't really read Marvel comics in 10 years. I couldn't tell you the last Marvel comic I read. So
we have the online quickie.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the PDF there, or
that's actually it's both PDFs. We were not able to adjust the tier description because it had already been purchased, but we're planning on sending that out to everybody who backs anything, including that tier in itself. And it'll be Cluster Fudge 1 and 2.
Right.
Because really in a
comics
PDF,
for $5.
Right. In a PDF, there's no reason not to include both of them and get people up to par on the story and let them see all the visuals.
And it's a great way, I feel it's a great way to really get the story out, because even though Cluster Fudge 2 you can read it as a standalone for sure, but I think it'll mean more to people if they have the first issue as they go into the second issue, they'll get a little bit more content of who Cluster is and what he's done and that kind of thing. So we made that decision to offer both the PDFs after we put up the campaign. That's one of the things we're learning. And so they're going to get both, and everybody that's backed a physical copy will also get that.
Also, if you want to wait 2 or 3 years, this will end up on HeroShack.com free. Because she says no, but that's what I've been doing with the PDFs. I'm putting up the comics a few years after we release them.
You don't want to wait that long.
Discussion later.
She still doesn't like that idea, but I do like giving away PDFs.
Yeah.
Especially if they're far away from the print that we did.
Down the road.
Like right now on Hero Shack, you can get the old Hero Shack issues. You can get Last of the Reapers, and their 24-hour comics. Eventually, Cluster Fudge may be part of that library.
Maybe 20 years, 30 years down the road, guys.
Yeah, wait till the hardcovers and the trade paperbacks and
exactly. Thank you. Don't listen to Chris. This is why he's the creator, and I do the business.
Well, you guys do know the biggest thing I have going against me is I give away stuff.
Yeah.
She hates that.
Like I said, his Twitter may be shutting down. His availability to do things on his website may go away. I'm just teasing. So now we have Let's Get Physical. Yes. So Let's Get Physical is the physical copy of Cluster Fudge. And
that's the original cover.
Right. Yeah.
And it will also include PDFs.
You got the PDFs. Yeah, I think it's listed in the direct.
Yeah, and there is secret bling coming with that, but we're not going to tell you guys what it is because otherwise then it's not fun.
Well, we want it to be like Christmas.
Now, right there, you see that T-shirt is a new offering we have. We actually bought a press to make these ourselves.
Yep, they come out fantastic.
Right.
It is a legit professional heating press.
That is actually a print of the new cover for Cluster Fudge 1, and it's available as an add-on. It's really a cool piece of art, and I can't wear it.
But this is like literally, the great big flat iron thing, and you lay the T-shirt out on it, and you pull the lever down, and it goes.
Yes.
Yeah, it lowers the whole plate down evenly. Yeah. And it only takes probably 10 seconds to do it.
I have found, in all honesty, we've ordered T-shirts for Hero Shack from other big name companies that I don't want to name because I'm not that kind of person, that we've paid a ton of money for. Do you know those T-shirts are faded and like crumbling, and we only had them for like a month. And our T-shirts, like I've made some for Chris to wear to work, and he wears them all the time, and There's no fading, there's no crumbling. They hold up really, really well.
Well-
So I'm very excited about it. It's definitely a quality T-shirt, and we're hoping to sell some.
Right.
We are
Fun
giving some
fact.
away. We gave some away already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Here's a fun
again,
thing you can try with it. When I was a wee lad in the mid '80s, a comic shop that was opening up in near where I lived had a T-shirt press, and they were doing T-shirts with comic book covers on them.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
what they were doing was they were literally cutting the comic book cover off of these remnant books, and
Yeah.
then putting it art down and pulling it on the actual cover, and then lifting it up, and the ink would transfer onto the shirt in reverse, including the logo. But
that's kind of a unique little thing,
That's
though.
different. That is different.
I was surprised you could do that. Now this was back before.
Yeah, you couldn't get away with it now for sure. Well, we couldn't resell it, but that'd be a fun Christmas gift for somebody who had like a, something special that they really enjoyed. Or
Yeah, and it was of course one of a kind too. Somebody would come in and say, "This is the cover I want put on there," and they couldn't mass produce them.
Right.
That's so cool.
We learned to cut the logo out of it, so it was just the artwork, and then that was a lot cooler.
Of course.
It makes it easier to read that.
Yeah,
way.
it does. It does. So we have a variant cover for Cluster Fudge 2.
This is Quibix. He is, I call him a superstar out of New Hampshire. He's a super artist. We've known him for a few years from the conventions.
Yeah.
And when I was putting together Cluster Fudge 2, I wanted him to do a cover. So I approached him. He jumped on it. And this is just what he gave me. And I absolutely love his style. So,
and he does a lot of like the skeleton kinds of.
Well, I definitely recommend if you like
artwork.
anything about this cover, check him out on Instagram. He's got a ton of great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's on Facebook too, I think.
Facebook too, yeah.
But yeah, he's a very stylized artist who I'm very proud to have as my first variant cover artist. Yay!
There you go. Now, as to the character, we talked about how he's very hard to kill, or he can't be killed. In this issue, he actually looks for death, not trying to die, but literally, hooded, scythe carrying, skull faced, capital D, death.
Yes.
And finds him.
Yes. Now in issue 2, I can give away this because this is basically something that's even in the video. He was seeking death. He found it, but they're not ready to let him go. So in this spiritual playground of surrealism and wild visions and things of that nature, he's trapped. And there is a battle going on between certain powers that want to torture him and take him down for all the evil he's done. And I'm trying not to say too much because there isn't kind of a big thing going on. I guess I can hint to it. Well, if I hint to it, it'll tell it, won't it? Well, if you look at the bookmark on the cover of Quibix's art there, he's not the same bookmark that you'll notice in issue 1. The costume is different, the coloring is different, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
But that's one of the key points in issue 2, understanding what happened there. And that ties back into the Silver Scribe and his ship, the IA, doing some naughties.
Yeah.
Yes. That's all going to be revealed in issue 2.
And it's funny because every time we try to explain the story, after we get off the stream, I'm like, do you think people are getting like it seems like it's such a convoluted, twisty story, but it's really not.
Well, the problem is, and it's not a problem, but when you're describing it, there are really like 4 different spokes of stories that intertwine constantly together. And as we get closer to the end, they're all going to grind together, and it's like, and I'm actually working on Cluster Fudge 3. I can't tell you how crazy this is going to be, but by the time it ends, everything will be resolved one way or the other. And I'm really hoping just that it's going to be one of those like, wow, I can't believe that was, that went from this to this.
Surprise, yeah.
Right.
Full of surprises.
And Russ Leach, if you're watching, hit these guys up to do a variant cover for issue 3, because Russ Leach does a book called Only Death Can Save Us. And boy, wouldn't it be cool if his death was the one on a variant cover, not in the story, just, as a...
That would be great.
His version of Death and Cluster duking it out.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I don't know if I should announce this completely, but
I don't know because you
I
do
love
these things
but I love
and you
other
don't tell
artists
me.
and variants, so we definitely need to take a
Yeah,
note on that.
okay. Yeah,
But if you're out there and you want to show us something that you think might gel, we're all for crossovers. And
yeah,
in fact, my first 2 years, I've had crossovers in everything I did in one way or another. And of course, this year I haven't done any crossovers, but
not yet.
yeah, the year's still young. I have 2 months left.
There you go.
Well, I do honestly do at least 30 to 60 pages a month, whether they get printed or not. It's and I think that's part of the creative process. I think as an artist, if you're in comics, it's unless you're an EVS or a pro that's already done it, it's important to get into that regular cycle of churning out work, because you get to a pace where you suddenly start learning things in a different way. Like you hear about college basketball players, for instance, they go to the NBA and the game is so much faster. It's the same with the NFL. When you do a professional regimen, instead of saying, I'll get it done someday, no, you have a schedule. Let's go. When you do it like that.
Chris sets his own, he imposes his own schedule. And like he gets mad at himself when he doesn't get his deadline. But let's talk about Cluster Fudge again.
We can talk about Cluster Fudge too, but before we do that, I'm spending your money again. But when you get ready to do the Great Cyclopean 3, consider because the art style would just work so well with it. Consider talking to George Peter Gatsis.
Oh yeah, I love Peter.
Yeah.
Well, George does these trading cards that are 2 trading cards always. Is like 1 trading card with your character, 1 trading card with his character, and you put them together and they make the one picture. So I think a Joe King Great Cyclopean dual trading card would be well received with your campaign. So George, I know you're out there.
Actually, George's character is one of the few guys that have done a pinup, just fan art type thing, because I absolutely love his character. You know the character, right? Yes. Beautiful.
That's very cool.
Yes.
That is cool. I think that's a great idea, and I think we should reach out to him.
Yes, we will.
I think that can be made to happen. Yes. I was looking for something else here. Just talk amongst yourselves. No, I've got it here.
Well, real quick in the chat. Okay. Hi, Vicky. Hi, Timothy. Hi, Rick.
Hi, guys. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Mike Walters. I haven't been able to respond to you guys because, as you know, as guests, we don't have a comment back, and I don't have the YouTube thing open. So, hello, everybody. We're not ignoring you.
No, we're not.
Speaking of fan art. Was so happy to receive this. So happy, in fact, that I've spent a couple of days a week on different shopping sites looking for a green and yellow checkered vest because I'm like, well, now I want to put him in a shirt and tie and vest to do his shows with. So.
Oh my gosh.
Well, as you know, we love Marmalade.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's a surprise coming for you too.
There is. Diana's got something very special for you. You guys should know she's also venturing into coloring.
Oh yeah, I've been coloring. I colored Marmalade.
Yes,
I did.
You did a great job on that.
Chris sent me. No, I didn't color that one, but Chris sent me one, and I colored him. And Chris said I did a really good job. So
she did. I'm very happy for her. She's learning flattening.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to get her into the special effects,
the
shadowing,
the special effects and stuff. So I'm doing that on the side as well. And I love it. That's like when I sit down watching TV, I've got my iPad and my lights, and I'm like learning how to do layers and all that. But I really love it.
I'm not going to show them all here, but I'm sorry to inform you, you're not the first person to send in Marmalade fan art.
Oh my gosh!
Is that from Pops?
No, these are kids.
Yeah, is that from Pops' grandkids?
Yes.
Yeah, Pops' grandkids that did some Marmalade art here.
That is not the first time I've seen those, I don't think. I think I've seen those on one of his videos too.
Maybe. I know his grandkids would.
So I've got them here. I got to take pictures of them so that Marmalade can put them on his next show, because Marmalade's been busy recording a music video.
Oh, I like it.
He has a song that he's written.
We were going to send him a copy of Cluster Fudge, but Diana said no. So we'll be looking to send him Cyclopean 3. But I forgot how young he is.
3.
Yeah. He's a kid.
He'll have me buy him a copy of Cyclopean 3. He liked the first 2. But yeah, he's working on a song called Comicsgate Pie. and I'm not quite sure what it is, but he's got his guitar and he's been playing his guitar.
Out. Oh my gosh, that's funny. I love it.
You know, I know it starts a long, long time ago, and he won't let me hear the rest of it.
No, you can't.
Could you scroll down just a little bit? Just a little bit more. I just want to get to one right there, the Lorenzo perk, because I just noticed Lorenzo in the chat.
Look at
that. And I just wanted to say that perk is something that Lorenzo inspires every single campaign that we do.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be making Lorenzo perk a regular feature.
Yeah.
Typically, it'll include 2 copies of the main book and maybe additional books and anything else that he tells us he wants on that campaign.
Makes it easy. He just
so Chris, when you do your campaigns, Diana, you've got to edit these too. You can't just focus on the books, because when I look at the Lorenzo perk special and I go skip right down to included items, what am I getting here? I'm getting Cluster Fudge 2 physical.
That's all it says?
That's all it says in the included items. Now the description above it says 2 copies of Cluster Fudge 1, Cluster Fudge 2, Cluster Fudge 2 Kivix variant. But the included items thing is
so we'll have to be aware of that. Yeah. Good thing there's only been like 2 of them ordered, so we'll be able to handle that without any mistakes. But that's a good point, because if we got
because this is what will show up on your CSV.
Right. Yeah. If we got multiple orders, that would be hard to go, oh wait, those are supposed to have.
Right. Yes.
Thank you. That's
Speaking as a guy who ships and as a guy who runs campaigns for other campaigners.
Yeah, we're very fortunate right now that our backing numbers are low enough that we can catch anything like that manually. Oh my God, if that was 10 times the backers, we would likely screw that up badly.
Oh yeah, I'd be sad for sure.
Yes, so you'll figure this out, right?
I will figure it out.
Yeah,
I will. I usually do. I literally manually do it all. So thank you for pointing that out.
Yes, that's a big one. But since Lorenzo is there, I wanted to just point out that he's always going to have a spot in our campaign tiers. Just because.
And I've seen this image that you used here in some of the preview pictures. That is the craziest stuff I've seen. This like, you know, he got his head sliced off. And he's just like sliding it back
on. Let's not waste any time, please. You know, let's just we have a job to do, and slicing my head off is not one of them. Thank you very much.
Yeah, he's a very
he just catches it. He just catches it, puts it back on. Like, seriously.
Well, the bookmark is exceptional, and you're going to see in issue 3 when he really gets into battle. They can be sliced and diced, and it doesn't really matter. They're like egg salad; they just keep being egg. Does that make sense?
No,
you can mash it and slice it, and it's still just an egg. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, the bookmark's like an egg.
Oh God! Don't quote him on that, guys. It's gonna be the new Twitter thing. Bookmark is like an egg.
Yeah.
So the biggest tier, we put that out there because Chris was encouraged to do traditional art. And he sat down one afternoon and he started. And as his wife, I was so excited to see that. I love his digital work, don't get me wrong, but there's something about it for me to see him do the traditional because he can do it. Yeah. He doesn't do it because it takes too long, and Mr. Antsy Pants doesn't like to wait a lot long. He likes to just keep going. So he worked on that. So that is, we have it in a very safe spot. And I didn't, again, this was another error. I didn't put that it would be framed. You're getting it framed. And it should have been framed, but it should have been in the description.
It will be framed, but it should have been in the description.
Yes, it should have been in the description, but it won't. But there's only one. It hasn't sold, and I get that. I mean,
I'm actually kind of, now, don't get me wrong, if you guys want to buy it, go for it. But I'm actually kind of hoping it doesn't sell, because I'll hang that framed drawing right on my wall. I don't care.
Wow.
But I offered it basically because Pops encouraged us. And why not? You know, if it doesn't sell, it's no big deal. If it does, well, that's a nice little package.
Yeah, do some traditional art because, you know, that's a one-of-a-kind thing, and you can get some money for those.
Yeah. Well, I'll be doing something special with original art for every book we do from now on, whether that's the cover or an alternative cover or a special offering.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work out for my production-wise because of the obvious. Everything is faster digital. You don't have to set up your pens and your inks and your everything is just click, 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 click. Mm-hmm. But there is definitely room for and a need for traditional. I found that doing more traditional is actually helping my digital.
Yep.
Like earlier when you mentioned primitive, doing traditional actually helps the digital become less primitive, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
Yeah, well,
Sure.
yeah,
Because it reminds me of the medium I'm trying to emulate.
And it slows you down in a good way.
Yes.
It's like when I write sometimes, rather than pulling up a blank word and typing away, I'll get a notebook and
Mhm.
with a pen, because just like it's going a lot slower, but it allows your mind to think what you're
It
doing
does.
before you put
And
the
that
words down.
whole, and I agree. I use my computer a lot, obviously, but I love to just write thoughts down on my pads of paper that I have, because it does slow you down and it causes you to think. And there's something about the proprioceptive feedback that your whole the whole brain, like a whole thing that process that I really enjoy.
So taking notes is very important. You got to write down.
No, put your iPad down. That's not even funny. I'm talking about feeling the pencil or the pen
And the paper,
go across
actually,
the paper.
there is something about writing instrument to paper.
Yes, there is. That's what I was saying.
Yes, I'm just teasing
Oh
you.
my gosh.
And George is in the chat. So George,
Hi,
George.
Joe King versus Great Cyclopean, pair of trading cards for Cyclopean number 3. It's happening.
Yes.
Let's talk about it, brother. We can do this.
That would
All
be
right,
fun.
so gosh, we've been here about an hour. I know we haven't really talked a lot about cluster. We talked about the campaign enough. Finally, thank the Lord. I finally got around to doing my job here. And of course, I spent a whole hour here getting you absolutely nothing. I'm sure. Because that's what we do. We we waste your time when you can get backers on some larger stream.
But take the pressure off, because you'll notice we haven't started doing any what do they call those? Stretch goals. We haven't done any of those ever. So we've made the goal. If we don't sell another book, I'm so happy that we made the goal.
Yes.
And perhaps next campaign will include a stretch goal, because we've never.
I have to learn a little bit more about them.
Right.
Like, I know people do them, and I get like the books that I've backed. Hey, we've gotten to 10,000 and we now have a stretch goal. And I'm like, that's really cool. Like, I want to do that. So
you can do it two ways.
Yeah.
You can do it with dollars, and you can do it with backers. So you can say, like, hey, if we get 30 backers, then we'll do a stretch goal, as opposed, if we get $1,000, we'll do.
Oh, I did not know that.
Actually, I'd rather have 30 backers than more money. That's just me.
Right. Of course you would. But I think both would be nice. 30 backers
I can do it both.
But yeah, we are going to look into that. I'm excited that we have funded it, even though it's a flexible goal and you were going to get your book regardless. It's nice to know that we have supporters out there, and that really touches my heart.
And I got to admit, she was kind of feeling bad, because I looked at her and I was like, flexible? What?
How dare you do a flexible?
She was like, honey, I'm sorry, it was a mistake. And I'm like, well, where's my motivation now to go out and do this, And because I actually use those goals as like, okay, because like there are very few streams where I'm comfortable. I'm very comfortable on yours and Marmaluke and what's that?
Pops.
Yeah, Pops too.
Yeah.
But like we visited others. We went on Church of Failure.
Yeah.
And I was terrified. I mean, I don't know why, they're great guys, but it just sometimes the autism or the stress or something gets to me, and I'm like, but like I don't even know where I was going with this. So with the goal, I can overcome those fears a lot easier. But when it's like, it's flex, you're gonna make. I'm like,
he's very competitive, guys.
You need the pressure. There's good stress and there's bad stress, and if
Right.
you can draw energy from having a deadline on top of you, then that's good stress. And
that's what happens. Mm-hmm.
That's really the only time I do anything is when I imply fake deadlines.
Yes, fake deadlines.
That's what they are.
It's not for me. But anyways, as you were saying, we've been here for about an hour. We've discussed the book, not in detail, but I think we gave, hopefully, viewers enough.
Well, can I say something back to Chris real quick?
Want to?
Selling books, I know that this is going to make RJ and Diana cringe, but to me as a creator, I'm just happy to be making the books and sharing them out to people one way or another. The money is good. It's important. It's something that I am not saying I don't want. But if I was to win the lotto tomorrow and have billions and billions of dollars at my disposal, I'd be handing out books for free. And she would be going, why are you doing that? And I'd be like, because I'm a millionaire. I can do that. It's just how I am.
That is very true. He likes to, and not that I don't. We've had this discussion.
No, she's just very real about it, and it's good. Yes.
It's been an hour.
Well,
I'm sorry. I keep talking. Yes.
Yes. Stop talking now. Thank you, RJ.
You're probably like me. You know, if I won $1 million, I'd be like, you know, how many copies of my book can I buy to give away with $1 million? And then at the end of the day, I'd have all these books and no money.
But I would be handing out books. Ooh,
handing out books right and left.
Right, exactly.
Be trying to buy gas with books.
You keep shutting me. I'm sorry.
He doesn't stop talking.
Cluster, a very not nice guy in a very over-the-top crazy world where anything and everything can happen. And I'm seeing a woman hugging herself, but this is a mature reader's book. She may unhug herself if Diana didn't edit those pages.
Well, within the pages, there is a lot of adult images. However, we don't slip into that like porno thing. Like you'll never see explicit sexual images. Like if you
It'll
want
be suggested.
Right, but if you want the textbook images, go National Geographic or you know what I'm saying? Like I don't put body parts and body parts there. That's how I'll put it.
There's no brown chicken, brown cow.
Yeah, none of that. No,
No.
Okay.
no. It's all implied innuendos and drawn adult enough that you couldn't show it to a kid. That's the best way to put it. It's not porn, but it's rated R
for a reason.
Right.
It's a good comic book, folks. Get it.
It is. Yes.
The statement I made at the beginning of the video is taken from my own review on criticalblast.com for Cluster Fudge #1, where we gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So
that was awesome.
That's actually going to be in my next little video promo for the last week, which I don't know what the sense of doing because we made it, but I guess I will do anyways. Because
you got 10 more days to go. Plus, I think you got another 30 after that.
Yeah, she wants to do the extra 30. See, this is where it differs because when she's in control of the campaign, I let her make those decisions. Mm-hmm. So really, I'm just like you guys out there. I don't know if we're going another 30.
You can keep it on demand. You can keep it in demand, and it doesn't hurt you at all.
Yeah.
Just getting the word out, letting people know that it's in demand.
But another 30-day campaign gives us something to strive for.
Well, this is true.
Yeah. It's a holiday season.
We will see.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Can't make instant decisions.
Well, everybody in the chat, if you started off, the link is pinned at the top of the chat. If you're catching us on the replay, you'll use the link that's below the video. So it's in 2 places right now. One place as soon as we're done. You all can click on that thing anytime during the video. It won't take you away. You can still hear Chris and Diana talk about the book. Go out there, throw money at this. Get yourself both copies if you haven't already got the first one.
Yeah.
If you've already got the first one, odds are you've already put it on your calendar to get this one if you haven't bought it already.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I can say about it. You know, it's a fun book that I've backed it already. I'm in the list.
Yeah.
And you know what's weird? We're promoting this, and like it's already done. So like I'm saying that because a lot of people in crowdfunding, you'll back something and it's going to take a while to get it, and you know that ahead of time, and that's fine. This is already finished. This is like just sitting in the out bin, if you know what I mean.
Right.
It's done.
It's done.
Yes.
It is done. Sketch cards 2 are just about done for the pre-launch people that signed up. I think we had about 10 or 12 of them.
Right.
So he is doing those sketch cards for you guys. So you know who you are.
Yep.
So we're excited about that. And I'm excited just to wrap it up and get the books out to everybody.
Yes, I'm down.
So with that, folks, back Cluster Fudge #2 today. Don't wait 10 days. Do it now. Let's see how high we can get this number kicked up here.
That would be exciting.
Yeah, we're very excited we didn't fail.
You weren't going to fail. It was flexible.
Hallelujah.
Chris, Diana, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight and bringing your work to show to everybody. Everybody in the chat, thank you guys for showing up. We don't have a show without you. And as always, we just hope you had a blast. Good night.